Welcome. In class 11th, the fundamentals of physical geography. Today we are going to discuss the chapter number 2 of biodiversity. In first video, we have discussed about the biodiversity and types of biodiversity. Now we are going to discuss the causes of loss of biodiversity and how to conserve the biodiversity. Tropical regions, which occupy only about 1/4 of the total area of the world, contain about 3/4 of the world population. Overexploitation of resources and deforestation have caused the loss of biodiversity. Tropical rainforests contain 50% of the species on the earth. Destructions of natural vegetation cause the loss of biodiversity. There are many causes for the loss of biodiversity like natural calamities, earthquake, flood, volcanic eruption, forest fire, drought, etc. These are the causes due to which the biodiversity is declining. Use of pesticides, other pollutants, hydrocarbons and toxic heavy metals also responsible for destroy or loss of biodiversity. Species are not the natural inhabitants of the local habitats. What are introduced into the system are called exotic species. There are many examples when a natural biotic community of the ecosystem suffered extensively because of the introduction of exotic species. During the last few decades, some animals like tiger, elephants, dinosaurs, crocodiles, minks, and birds were hunted by the poachers. They hunt these animals mercilessly for their own benefits, and this has resulted in the loss of biodiversity. The International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, IUCN, has classified the threatened species of plants and animals into three categories for the purpose of their conservation. All forms of life are closely interlinked. When there is disturbance in one form of life, it will create imbalance in the others. Plants and animals become endangered. They cause degradation in the environment, which may threaten the human beings. So there is an urgent need to educate the people. There is need to adopt environment friendly practices so that development is harmonious and the other life forms and is sustainable. There is an increasing consciousness of the fact that such conservation with sustainable use is possible only with the involvement and cooperation of local communities and individuals. For this, the development of institutional structure at local level is necessary. The critical problem is not merely the conservation of species nor the habitat but the continuation of the process of conservation. The government of India along with 155 other nations have signed the Convention of Biodiversity at the Earth Summit held at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in June 1992. Here is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The World Conservation Strategy has suggested the following step for biodiversity conservation. Effort should be made to preserve the species that are endangered. Prevention of extinction require proper planning and Management. Proper planning and management is required for the extinct species. Varieties of food crops, forest plants, timber trees, livestock, animals, and their wild relatives should be preserved. Each country should identify habitats of wild relatives and ensure their protection. Protection is necessary of wild species. Habitats where species feed, breed, rest, and nurse their youngs should be safeguarded and protected. International trade in wild plants and animals be regulated to protect, preserve, and propagate the varieties of species within natural boundaries. The Government of India passed the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, under which national park and wildlife sanctuaries were established and biosphere reserves are declared. There are some countries which are situated in the tropical regions. They possess a large number of the world's species diversity. They are called megacities या mega diversity centers. There are 12 such countries, namely Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, China, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia. These are the major points through which we can save our biodiversity. If we will save the biodiversity, then we will save the humankind. Thank you so much.